But anyway, I'll share with you what I pick up or learn through one of my trip to Japan. Basically, it's under KKMM. Actually, KKMM asked us to go, so MCMC. So it's ASEAN Japan actually. So sponsored by Japanese government. Okay. So the topic that I think was very interesting is smart city around the world. So I show you some example, and the end game is data management basically. So this guy who shared, I used some of his slides, not very good. He's from Singapore. One of the actually he has consulted Mampu also. I was told many years ago about how to make our city smarter in around the world, in Malaysia, like example. Okay, I start with definition. Biasa, a lot of people, what is smart city, what is sustainable city? It's very broad actually. Kalau you tengok the definition, this one I got it from ITU lah. So ITU from MCMC, of course kita pakai ITU punya definition lah, but other agency, other organization, they pun almost the same word lah. Actually, the word is sustainable. How do you make a city sustainable? Using ICT, to improve your quality of life, urban operation, and services to make our city competitive. Kalau you nak attract investor, right, one of the areas you must make it convenient. Nak pergi mana? End to end, very easy. Kalau you tak, how do you get investor to come in, right? So that is one, to make present and future. That's the definition. Sekarang and in the future. We're talking about 5, 10, 20 years. Semua from kampung will go to the city, for sure. I think easily now, probably around 70% now people in the city already. So in the next, in the very near future, semua will be, of course then you need to look at the problem, the economic, social, environmental, memang impact. You look at Bangkok and Jakarta, do you think you want to live there? The jam itu memang, and Beijing, Shanghai, all the big city, look, memang challenging. So then you look at the cultural aspect also, because everyone is coming into the city. So that one very important. Okay, I'll show you one example. So I want to show you one. Wait a minute, okay. This one slide dia tak bagi PDF, so they give PowerPoint, because I think for copyright reason they give me PDF saja. So government around the world, they are looking into smart city as well. You don't have choice because everyone is going to the town. You look at example your kampung, even my kampung but also there's nobody there. So semua pergi bandar. So where the problem will be in the urban area. Rural area memang very sad lah, but that's how very quiet. I think you go to any city, especially yang tak ada highway. Dulu, if you can remember Ipoh, right, when they create the North-South Highway, right, Ipoh become very quiet at one time. But I think with the Smart Ipoh or Smart Initiative, Ipoh is coming back again because of the highway also sometimes. Okay, European example, transportation, you're looking at waste disposal facilities, you're looking at light, like energy. Those are a few areas basically they cover when they talk about smart city. Okay, aging, memang challenging also, aging population. Japan is one of them. I'll share with you some example. Okay, macam smart city in Japan, New Tokyo, New Tomorrow, action plan for 2020. This is what they are planning. I'll share with you. So in Japan they have this called smart city, smart society, or society for 5.0 they call it. Different countries call it different name. China, they call it Make in China 2025 or 2025. So different name, but the concept almost the same. How you make your city livable? How you?
Do we have the same thing in Malaysia?
Sorry.
Do we have the same thing like Malaysia Society 5.0?
Malaysia, okay, very good question. Malaysia, okay, Malaysia there's a agency under Plan Malaysia. They are working on a framework now. DBKL their own plan. Every cities. In fact, we went into quite a lot of the meeting. Penang their own initiatives. Selangor, Ipoh also want to have like Perak. They want digital. KK also trying to do something. Johor, Iskandar has been trying for a long time. they started macam with infra first, you know, they started with infra IRDA. So they don't really have a macam, you know, a framework yet. I think they are trying to. I met the guy from Plan Malaysia. Plan Malaysia dulu was called what is it called already? I can't remember. There's a sorry. Yeah. So they keep changing the name. Plan Malaysia pun baru they invited me to do a talk last month. I pun tengok, first time I dengar Plan Malaysia, because there's so many changes, you know, people calling themselves. Even the interesting one is MARI, you know, MARI, M-A-R-R-I. They also want to do IoT. They are supposed to do macam transportation, but now they want to use robot as part of their branding. So everyone is changing. You need to evolve your agency or your department, your division or whatever. If not, you know, you might be not relevant in the same, because things are changing so fast. We are talking about Industrial 4.0, and Japan they call it Society 5.0. So different name, but Japan, sometimes when they say society, Japan they focus a lot on society, people. So different scale. Some look at economy, some look at social, some look at ICT. So those are some changes there. This is from the European EC Smart City Initiative. So basically they look at congestion, you know, that's one area. Sorry for the slide tak proper. Boleh nampak tak? I don't know. Can, because they give me the PDF. Then they look at air pollution, energy is one of them, when you get more people to go to the city. Better mobility, I think Malaysia gonna have more. How do you take a bus from here to Ampang? Anybody know? Susah, right? You drive, most of them. Or you're lazy, you pakai Grab, right? Clean urban environment, energy efficient. I think our building Thomas has done a very good job. You know, with smart building, right, Thomas? Ours. So actually, that's a very good initiative, really, that Thomas has done it the last 15, 17 years. Our building is about 20 years old. When we first started, I still remember when we did that. So in Taiwan, basically look at digital opportunity. See, every country is different. Taiwan are known for, you know, dulu PC, right, for information, right? Computer. Taiwan are very good. They evolve very fast. Dulu PC all from Taiwan per se, right? Mostly. They're very fast at copying per se. I don't use to copy, but they evolve very fast. New model come in, they will come out with it. But now the margin for notebook technology not very lucrative, so they have to look for something else. So they look at interconnected services, you know, security is one of them. So that's and then Singapore, their mandate is quite good, because even if you look at Malaysia, we have so many agencies. Or which agency looking at macam smart city? Actually, belum lagi at the second per se. Different bandaraya will do their own. Malacca also want to do their own. You know, so everybody is doing it. But Singapore, they have few agencies. They say, okay, this is what we're going to do. They use the top-down approach. Sumo follow. So it's sort of like, you know, Barotan. Everybody follow. So easier to push rather than you bottom up. Bottom up, your cycle akan lama, right? You know, so you have to sell to so many stakeholders. Memang challenging. So Singapore, what they have done is even when they plan the building, right? You know, building, let's say you want a high rise, bukan setakat, oh, I got land and build. They even look at how the wind blowing, so that you have a very conducive environment, or what type of green are you going to plant in. They plan all those, they bukan retrofit dah. You build first, then lepas tu you only figure out where to put the train and semua. They replan it 10, 20 to 30 years ahead. So that is slightly different. Of course, they want to do a lot of this, macam even with the ring, you can have payment and so on. So they are testing it. Fingerprint national ID, for example, I think they are quite ahead of what we are trying to do. So, of course, transportation, they are probably one of the yang paling dekat, probably one of the better one. You know, you can go from point A to point B. You know, then they have this basically health, you know, virtual therapy. So you can basically have, this is what they are looking to make smart. A lifestyle, actually when you talk about smart city, you're talking about lifestyle. You know, if your quality of lifestyle is good, a lot of people can migrate to that area. And of course, investor will come along. Okay, and they also want to look at old people, you know, when you are alone, you know, all of us go pergi kerja, right? You know, so who's going to take care of the old people at home? which is a real problem actually, especially in a lot of countries now as aging. Smart healthcare. This one interesting. Singapore, what they did is they can even monetize. They can even monitor where are the outbreak. Be it diarrhea, dengue, they can map it out very fast because they have created using ICT to make sure that everyone that goes to clinic, right, they can report. So then they can plot the one on your right hand side, the chart. So those are how they make their city smart. Even in this area, right, they can tell elderly Singapore residents 65 and plus what are the population there in that building itself. So if that building ramai orang tu, right, you need to have better facilities, okay, or something that is convenient for people to move around between that block or HDB they call it. So those are how they started. I mentioned just now based on my topic of title. Actually, the end game in mind for smart city is not the sensor. Sensor is one element. It's the data. How do you make use of the data? Itu yang penting. In Singapore, what they did is they have make it compulsory. Every minister must have one, either a data scientist. They want to call it data scientist lah. Data scientist, a little bit bigger term lah. Or you can have an analyst or data analyst. Sounds better lah. Scientist macam wah, like very smart. But you need to have somebody who can look at the data and make sense out of the data. So you that collect all the information. You have the demographic, you have the population, you have the building, you have the number of traffic, traffic light, number of cars, number of parking in a city. How do you integrate itu yang? That's why they encourage every minister must have one data scientist, if possible, or maybe slightly lower grade, and everyone must, I think two of them, if I'm not mistaken, must go through this exercise or train to be a data analyst first, then you move yourself up. So that, because actually data is, if I look at MCMC, kita pun banyak data, but are we sharing it now? That's the challenge here. So this one is based on Dr. Vivian Balakrishnan. Basically, I think he's a former comms minister dulu lah, the last government for Singapore. So now I think it's another person. So basically, how you integrate, how you collect, how you analyze the data, how you integrate the plan to create a smart city. I think it's a very, very good word, that they have put together. Because he was in charge of the Smart Nation office last time. So now another person is running it. So with data, there's so much data. Actually, you and I, we are creating the data. If you're on social media, be it Amazon, you're buying things, it all comes together, right? If you're buying things, right, what do you need? You need delivery people, you need transportation, you need the e-commerce value chain. Right? Kalau tak, how do you support it? Right? You beli, take it 1 week, you tak nak. Basically, you want it next day kalau boleh. Normally 3 days, 5 days lah, depending on where the product is from. A lot of countries, they can deliver on the same day. I know China, Indonesia, Jakarta, certain items they boleh deliver right away. You beli, they will have motorbike, they come in. Very, very efficient. So, it's very important. Data is coming in very fast. Too much data already. Kalau you have too much data, you don't even know how to digest the data. So those are sensors. You're talking about crowdsourcing. You're talking about IoT. IoT, they can have around 70 million sensors. Each of you has, I think, 1 or 2 phones. You're actually collecting a lot of data for somebody out there. Be it Google for sure lah, Mr. Google number 1, or whichever app you're using. Normally they say, can I access to your data? Can I access to your photo and your contact, right? So actually when you take a picture, you're already collecting data for them because some software behind the other GPS location. So actually that information, when you tabulate it, right, you can see the back end of it, where people are taking, where is your tourist taking pictures. It's pretty scary also, or where you are also. Dia boleh tahu juga. So it's information. How do you bring them together? And for what's the purpose? Data can be everything. I think in Malaysia we have the open data source. I heard quite a lot of data. Even MCMC also sharing out a lot of data, right? So I got a lot of questions every time I go out and talk, right? They say, well, the data is out there, but I don't know how to use it. Or I don't know how to monetize the data. You know, because I think with data, if you cannot monetize it, you are sustainable. That's why the word tadi sustainable city. I give you a lot of data. Tower semua dekat everywhere, right? But what can you use with the data? If it's just for exercise, boleh lah sekali, right? But can you make money out of it? Itu yang paling penting. You cannot make money out of it, no point. You know, it's just an exercise. Okay, you can still do it. You can create a lot of data analysis and so on. But it will take some time if you want to monetize it. Okay, so this is what normally they do, descriptive analysis. This first two layer ni, right? The first two is the present way of doing things. Kita do descriptive analytics, kita do a diagnostic analysis. The problem kita diagnose. But I think the future you must go towards more complex predictive analytics. You know, prescriptive, how you solve the problem. I'll share with you some example. This guy say basically his job as a chief statistician. Any statistic people here? I think are there. Okay. So basically, you actually can start with a few database, right? Population. Population we can have a lot of data there. Land parcel, where are the lands, where are the buildings? Housing, who's staying who? What's the establishment, and integrated analytics. So with these four or five database, you can create a lot of information. Example here is, okay, tadi I mentioned about, you know, a lift, elevator, they call it. You know, anyone staying in apartment, what are the problems? Like, after 10 years, 20 years, Thomas can probably testify, lift are always the big problem. So what they encourage, study the previous slide, they call it prescriptive analytics. So you're gonna know in advance. Kalau tak, you wait for it to spoil baru fix, too bad lah. So you have to tunggu. But with the system, you should be able to preemptive people. Okay, I think we gotta shut it down. So it's like a planned maintenance rather than jalan-jalan rosak baru somebody stuck in there baru you fix. So the way things change is basically from here. You must be able to predict, and then you prescribe it, how you're going to solve it, you know. So that's how a city will be. Macam, I think Singapore, you know lah, Singapore or Hong Kong, memang all high rise. I'm quite sure they have a lot of problem. My apartment there pun problem. My friend's apartment in Taman Konat also, you know, near the university, if you know, UCSI, right? Major problem. 3 lift, every time one rosak. And it's I think it's what, I don't know, almost 20 something floor. Memang, you know, even I call my friend and say I don't want to go because turun pun lama, naik pun will wait a long time. So that is how, you know, because banyak tak bayar, so they don't have the money. So but with technology you should be able to do preventive maintenance rather than just rosak baru bagi. In China, what they do is they can know the population. They see the movement of the population. By daytime, semua pergi bandar, which is right at the middle right here. That's why you see macam hotspot. At night, semua keluar bandar, pergi outskirt lah, because of the cost. So with this data, right, they can monitor where the housing, where are the facilities to make that city more friendly and usable. So that's how they plan the train, the subway or metro they call it. You know, so where do you go? So they have proper plan, 30, 50 years. So once you have a high-rise building, you cannot say, okay, tepi, you know, put the highway or put the subway. It will cost a lot more. Possibly you can go around it, but you know. So they basically know where, how they capture the data. They can see what sort of people moving, you know, how many million people, when and where, what time. New York pun very interesting. They have a mapping, they call it mapping segregation. They will know the demographic of people, where they are staying, based on the data. Why? Do you know why? I know people will say it might be race. It's real estate value. Of course, sad to say, sometimes they say, oh, the area, the real estate turun. What area more? Macam Beverly Hills, all those. But this is how they collect demographic, and they plot it. So then they can see, okay, what is the what do you call it, the housing and so on. So they make it a requirement now to have people to start, rules now to access to where are the people are staying, and so on. So quite interesting, area. Boston, very interesting how they put their city smart. Boston, sometimes when they talk about American city, right, takut a lot of shooting and so on, right? They make this their mayor's punya dashboard. For example, number of calls, number of robbery, homicide. They plot it out by day, by week, by month, and by quarter. So you can see how your city is performing. Kalau your number keep increasing every day, something is wrong. Somebody is not doing their job. Right, so quite a good approach. A little bit scary is when you open up your book, right? But that's how, and this is how their Boston mayor office. So they have a real-time data. Then at least if you are a tourist, you're an investor, you feel confident. The city is trying their best to make the city livable, right? Then you know it's safe. Of course, no city can guarantee you 100% that they are safe. But the idea is to keep monitoring, to keep improving. Using technology and so on. So just imagine here, you can see all the numbers coming in real time. How fast your aviation respond to an incident. So that's how they monitor it. India also, they also do a lot of this, data collection. First, you need to collect data. I mean, in Cyberjaya, one thing that I always want to see is, okay, we want to see Cyberjaya pattern. Coming in morning, petang, go out. Weekend, maybe not many people, but now I think more happening compared to 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Weekend, you can walk in the middle of the road. I think Thomas, when we first moved here, I think there's no traffic at all, especially on weekend. But now I think it's more, a lot of activities. These are some data that they have put in. LA also, Los Angeles, so they're also looking at, basically collecting the data. How they collect the data, you share it, you analyze it, you visualize it, then you can analyze it. So that is some of the key area. These are from LA, I just skipped some of it. This one I think we turn about national ID, right? I heard Minister announce that. So it's quite similar to what MyInfo, which means you can have from the time you're born, you collect all your data, will follow you basically data. A little bit challenging, but ideally a lot of countries are doing it, from education, employment, your marriage, your children, aging population. So they value the end to end basically. You can be able to track that. I think last time, if you all remember my card, right? Supposed to have seven flags, if I'm not mistaken, right? Supposed to have all those, but I think sekarang I only use it for touch and go, for emergency touch and go. Bila my touch and go tak bawa, or my daughter take my touch and go, sampai touch and go, okay lah, I see, right? Have you all used it? Do you know your IC can be used for touch and go? You top up lah, taruh RM20 for emergency. In case they say tak ada tow yang boleh tambang, or gantry yang boleh tambang, so at least okay lah, RM20 hopefully can get through. Kalau tak, you are stuck, right? How do you get through? I dah pakai banyak kali my IC, so those are flags that you can use also. This is what they are trying to do. Okay, moving on. These are medical records also from end to end. I mentioned to you. So basically, I think we wanted to make our city smart also. Let's say you take on this clinic, and is your data shared by another clinic doctor? Right? That should be the way. A lot of countries are doing it now. So let's say you batuk, you go to the next one. The data is not linked, right? So historical data are very useful for doctor to analyze, your sickness or data. This one interesting scale, data integration. In China, what they do is they do credit rating. Better credit rating is for your credit card, right? This one credit rating for person. Let's say you don't behave ke whatever the other point dia. Macam you're driving lah, You're driving tak bagus, you cut down your point until certain time your points below certain point, I don't know how many points, but you tak boleh bawa kereta. So this one same also, you cannot buy plane ticket because during festival, right? You're talking about million of people moving around. So kalau your record is no good, dia tak bagi you beli your ticket. So it's quite interesting. In fact, they have some 24 million plane tickets sold, 5.7 million train ticket was stopped. So 5 million people tak boleh naik train. Those who are behaving not well. So in a way, is why are we doing this? They want to create a smarter society, a more social society. So that's how they use ICT to track that. Or even they track your worth also, individual worth. They call it social credit score. So which means whatever you spend, whatever your credit history, right? I think in Malaysia we have CTOS, right? I think they have CTOS, is that right? There's two of them, right? Sorry? So they have something similar, but this one they do in a bigger scale. Ours maybe they look at financials aja. This one they look at your social. Kalau you banyak problem, they cut points from you. Next time sampai to the stage that you cannot even buy ticket. Or they suspend you lah, maybe 3 bulan ke 6 bulan ke 1 tahun. Then after that you can come back to the system again. So it's quite interesting also. Challenge, of course, there's a lot of challenges there. I foresee that national ID pun very challenging. Kalau you look at the track record, they pun dah try many options also. So because you're looking at so much data, geospatial, data scientists, you got so much data, you take photo everywhere. For example, kalau next time if they allow fly drone, you can take more pictures. But can you share the data? Can you share the photo? That is something, because data can be different ways, structured. Macam our database, it's very structured. Our HR information are structured. But then they're semi-structured. For example, like your email, your server log, semi-structured per se. And unstructured, your social media, right? Your Instagram, are all quite unstructured, or video, but how do you combine all this? That's always the challenge, in structure. Integration, I mentioned tadi, very complex, but if you can get it right, or you fine-tune it a few versions, you have a lot of benefit, okay? Real data crime, they can even have a dashboard journey, so you can, then when you're in the city, you feel safe, so because the data is collected, rather than biasa dia put in one place, they tak share, but then the public doesn't know. Let's say if that area has a lot of dengue, right? We should know actually. The only time we heard is kawan sakit, right? But we don't know where. At least you say, okay, we don't go to that area lah, to lagi make that situation worse, right? At least you make a conscious decision. Okay lah, jangan pergi that area for 2 weeks ke whatever, right? So that's one. Monitoring crime in Kansas City. The example also. Kansas City, certain area Kansas City might be quite dangerous, so they even have that data collected and they share it, online. Crimes, types of crimes by hour, scary juga. So those are one. And then Uber, Uber. Do you know Uber has a lot of data? Or now they call it Grab, this part of the world. They even can see travel time comparison. Singapore, what they do is they know where the grabs are, or where the demand and supply. They plot it out. Quite good also. I think it's very, it makes your life better. Nowadays, kalau I pergi anywhere pun, I try to take Grab. I don't want to drive. If the parking there is difficult, then I just hop in and then hop out. Senang. Very simple. Balik sama juga. So they can tell number. That's how, if you look at Grab, they have very intelligent system that they can calculate your rate, demand and based on demand and supply, and number of hours and the traffic. They integrate traffic into it. In China, they integrate smart traffic light to the application. Because you just imagine proper taxi out there on the road. They are collecting information. So in China, they call TT, DIDI is a Grab or Uber equivalent. They even try to sponsor some of the taxi driver around. Now they're doing some experiment also. They put camera, how much data they're collecting, because they're everywhere. You don't even have to pay them also. You just install, they collect the information for them actually. Then they can do a lot of analytics. Okay. This one I skipped. Chief data mentioned just now, it's good to have people, even if MCMC or maybe we really got people who are expert in this. I think it's very important, or you can pursue in that area. Chief Digital Officer in US, collaborate. Important thing is collaborate. Every agency will have their own challenges. Kalau tak collaborate and share data, it will take you a longer time to achieve your dream, your strategy. Okay. Just skip something. Japan, this is interesting. Japan, the way they do their statistics is very interesting. They go by grid system. Kalau you tengok the diagram, each grid will represent that demographic of the people. So that for privacy reason. So which means they regrid 1, 2, 3, 4, already planned out already. So anything happen between certain grid, like say 974 is red, with infection or whatever, flu or whatever, they know. Because the clinic will report to it. And they already got the foundation place, so senang. They not collect data and then they analyze the data and say, that zone had a problem. Then they can take the necessary action. Japan also, where the old people staying, so basically they already plan out everything very well structured. These are basically some of the attributes there. Open data, mentioned a little bit. Open data is good and bad, but you must know how to use the data. Mampu also, I think, sharing out some data. But the last I heard from people, they say so much data. MCMC got 1,000 data set I heard. But so far I don't know anybody using it. It's already shared as part of the open source media data. Of course, it's non-confidential. They already anonymized the data. So, okay, so that's what I have. I want to share with you another example, a very simple one, just to tie in smart city. Reason why I bring it up is because you talk about airport. Airport last 2 weeks, right? The problem, right? Major problem. So we're talking about future smart airport. Okay, so this one is now all of you travel. You go from the time you beli ticket to park your car or you arrive at the airport, you check in your luggage, go through security check, airport activities, boarding the aircraft, departure, your in-flight entertainment. So arrival, custom, sampai you leave the airport. So very standard, I think. But the amount of work behind it to create that smart airport or smart city memang very complex. Even I think Malaysia we are having a lot of challenges as well. Yang successful one will be some like maybe better one at Changi Airport. They are more structured per se. For that is you passenger aircraft. Memang banyak kerja. I think we had a chance to visit. Asal did you go? The one to airport tu, dia pergi tak? Mahadi yang pergi airport. We went to the airport, MHP punya KLIA 2. We went and see how the operation of the airport. That's why master when they had that last week the problem we can feel it why they're having a lot of challenges. But if you're talking about experience, people sampai delay or you cannot depart, memang big problem. A lot of money lost. From aircraft arrival to the ramp services, ambil your luggage, load your luggage and so on. Boarding crew gonna come in, flight check, memang very complex actually. Loading your this cargo, your luggage, for taxiing to the runway, departure, in-flight entertainment, sampai arrival, sampai parking, maintenance. This one is a key. How do you do that? Okay, because we talk about a subset of smart city, smart airport is one of them. Example to share with you, the potential for 2035. They're talking about 1.4 billion, and the number of passengers will increase 7.2 billion, which is the amount of population right now. So you're talking about by 2035, the growth, the most effective, or what do you call it, the growth areas for Asia Pacific is in probably around this part of the world. China looking at by 2040 probably the largest aviation demand there. Okay, user experience. You nak pergi airport, you want easy. Nowadays you probably see a lot of I think we started, Malaysia was one of the first to start the smart chip in your passport. Now they have started with facial, thumbprint, semua. You know, nowadays you don't even have to, you know, you check in semua pakai kios. You go to different countries semua. In Japan, I would say Japan, they pakai robot now. You have any question, you go to the robot there. But of course, language is challenging as well. They have an English version and the robot waiting for you there. You're not sure where, you can ask them. You know, or nowadays in different airport they have apps, right? Let's say you are in the counter. Your gate is maybe at the end. You load up the apps, right? They will show you how to move. Maybe you want to go shopping ke, jalan-jalan. Then after that, you panic because you only got 10 minutes to get to the gate. But with the apps, right, it will show, they call Wayfinder. It will tell you where to go. So at least you don't panic, right? If not, once you reach there, the gate, or kapal terbang, you have to buy another ticket or whatever. So those are a lot of things are happening at smart airport. Because if you have smart airport, you generate a lot of investor coming, tourists and so on. There's a lot of revenue. Security, number one, you know, I mentioned just now facial. Facial now, I think a lot of countries that I visited, I'm quite sure you have right now, they will take a picture. Or even I think in China, what they do, once you arrive at the airport, right, you scan, there's one terminal, you scan your passport. Then you straight away go to the counter. The information of your passport already sent to the immigration counter. Certain airports, some I go to lama time. Bangkok sometimes can be very slow. Bangkok also just implemented it, but it's still a lot of hiccups there. You know, I think Malaysia, they are doing Changi Terminal 3 or 4. Memang Changi, their system. So they make it very very smart. You know, boarding, semua self check-in, semua. Even luggage also now is very common. A lot of people are doing it, you know. So the wayfinding is very good for shopping people. You walk around, they can trigger you sales. That's how they sustain the business. They will do that. Okay. Example, smart airports that is or smart city airport. With Manchester is doing it, passenger monitoring activity, so they know where the passenger are walking. You know why? So that you can sell your lot to marketing. You know, better. You see this one banyak area, this lane here, right? So you can increase your rental because there's a lot of traffic there. You know, so that's how they do. Or once you walk through there, there's a beacon, right? So that's some example. They have enhanced the quality. Do you know CEMPD kita ada buat e-book? Do you know that? I think Sharifah will know. Anybody? No, we have e-book. Don't know. CEMPD pun tak tahu kita. So we have building. We have actually we have 3 airports in Malaysia. If you go to Penang next time, try it. KKIA, Penang, and Senai Airport. So you go there, you have e-books, free e-books and paid e-books, because the application we created is to sustain itself. So basically, you can buy e-books. If you are good, you like to read books. You buy the e-books at a discounted rate, then you can read it at your own. Rather than you buy hard copy, you know, some people still like hard copy and so on. So that was something maybe Azam or dulu Mahdi yang buat, kita kena do more lah. You know, we have to give more free e-books. So you can download the free e-books, right? You know, you can read it anytime you want. The paid, there's a few free paid one. They will be on your books for like 3 days, depending on the license of that the book. Some they let you use for 1 week. After that, it will be Mission Impossible delete automatically from your book and from your handphone or tablet. You know, so that's how. But I think we need more contents. If you have any books for your publication, right, you want to share it out to the airports. So that's one area. Okay, KLIA 2 pun ada that system, but that was the earlier version. We did not pay for it. But the vendor came in, then they have implemented it, because to put a system dekat airport memang very difficult. Even when we went in and installed, also they restrict us because of security reason. Because you don't have a boarding pass, so they have to escort you to install your equipment, and sometimes they ask you come midnight, so there are less people. You know, especially KLIA 2, the traffic is crazy, especially holiday or you know, school holiday and so on. So airport, they're testing autonomous transport. A lot of them, you know, when your luggage, right, you have a driver. So now they are using autonomous, which means it's already predefined path. Bukan dia just jalan-jalan, pre-defined path. So they will The car, once the plane landed, this decorate toll, you know, then they have that carousel for them to put their luggage. Dia akan pergi sampai sana ambil. They're testing it. Next time, you don't need human really. You know, a lot of airport now they pakai human. Okay, Huawei also planning to test 5G and Wi-Fi 6 at KLIA also. Okay, I want to share with you one video, just a short video.
Hong Kong International Airport adopts the latest technologies to enhance the passenger experience and operational efficiency, all as part of its efforts to evolve into a smart airport. The HKG MyFlight mobile app provides a wide array of helpful features, including real-time flight information, car park spaces for pre-booking, and online shopping at the HK Airport shop. Indoor wayfinding and directional signage.
You can have a direction on your mobile app.
Airport facilities, shops and restaurants, all at a glance. MyTag delivers luggage arrival notices to passengers through a mobile app, making the baggage reclaim process easier and more convenient. Hong Kong International Airport has adopted an array of smart initiatives with big data and facial recognition technology, with a view to enabling a single token for a hassle-free passenger journey from check-in to boarding. Smart check-in kiosks help passengers check in with ease. Passengers can print baggage tags and check in their bags on their own by using the self-bag drop facilities. The whole process takes only around a minute. The e-security gates adopting facial recognition technology have also been installed. Speeding up the boarding journey, it will further be applied to the boarding gates in the future. For airport operation, the Airport Authority adopts video analytics system to monitor the supply of trolleys in real time. A GPS-based tracking system for airside motorized vehicles and ground services equipment is also in place to deploy resources effectively. The flexible loading arm assists workers to load baggage safely.
Do you want your luggage to be thrown around?
The airfield ground lighting scanning and inspection system checks the damages of airfield ground lighting through computer analysis, which is more efficient than visual inspection. The Innovation Lab conducts trials for the latest smart technologies. Hong Kong International Airport will keep exploring leading-edge innovations to offer passengers a more convenient and hassle-free journey.
But why airport? Because the first thing that you arrive in the country, right, if you feel whether the city is smart or not, is airport, because that's the first interaction. Second interaction is who? Taxi. But dulu lah, taxi, now you call it Grab or, you know, or train. How do you move from airport to the city? You know, normally you take bus or you take taxi or you take the train. The train is all connected very seamlessly. You know, so even in Singapore right now, tadi you tengok, right? They use a lot of AR, VR. They use drone also to monitor their plane. Right? Kalau plane, right? Sometimes, you know, lightning and so on, the structure can be cracked. They tak boleh tahu. So what they do, normally they have to put the hanger, right? And then they will use a crane to check visual check, sorry. You know, but now they can use a drone. They fly drone, right? And then they use a thermal so they can see better. And that image can be instantly transferred to Boeing in US or Airbus in Europe. So they are doing that kind of technology rather than manually. It will take you a longer time. The turnaround time akan lama. You know, so even tadi you tengok the example, the runway, right? Kalau track they just drive around. Normally somebody drive around just with visual inspection. But with this type of drone, right, you can fly. Well, of course, there's no plane because drones are not allowed in the airport. You know, but for their own internal operation, they get the exemption, of course, with the control pilot, proper drone pilot, pilot. So they will fly. They can do thermal check on the runway because it's visual is very difficult. Okay, I think with that I end my presentation a little bit, you know, on smart city per se. You know, you start from the airport all the way to the city and back. Okay, we are open for question. Anybody? It's here and there. It's here and there. It's Cyberjaya, for information, since we are here, they try to do smart traffic light. In fact, we wanted to do it also, but our good neighbor sort of pick up their own. They try to do, kalau you tengok, wait, this direction, the main road here, about I think 7 traffic light. They wanted to do smart traffic light. You know, so that your waiting line, so now waiting line always 3 minutes, 5 minutes, right? Or whatever minutes they have set up. Tak ada kereta pun tunggu, right? Sometimes daring when you run red light.
So with smart traffic light, they can
calculate. They can calculate. Kalau this side tak ada kereta, right? This side ada kereta, you let this guy go first. So you save time, petrol, stress, and wear and tear to your car. So that's one example. Smart parking. Normally the basic one is smart parking, smart traffic light. Smart street light is going to be the thing. Eventually, smart street light with 5G and so on, right? You might use that because the other infra, to build up another infra will be very costly. Eventually, depending how 5G, you know, in fact, you need to be connected. So smart parking is very important. I think you've seen some in the shopping mall, you know, but this one already done. Smart parking also, I think KL got one where you can park your car in, you will park it for you in a high-rise building. Dekat Jalan Ampang, if you notice that. See, I think next to the US Embassy, just around there. Yeah. So that you can park your car, they're high-rise. You just pay, you drive your car there, there's a conveyor belt, they can park for you. So because of the land, you know, it's so premium, you cannot have like Cyberjaya. So that's how parking will come into it, and then you can, of course, it's an integration of smart city. The challenges now, a lot of people want is a flash flood. But flash flood just come. Flash flood is a few factor, human, and the design. You know, people throw rubbish, just start. That's why flash flood. One of the reasons. Of course, the weather is always, you know, with the environment.
Do you participate? Some CEMPD participate in smart cities program.
Okay, good.
Adopted by other cities in Indonesia?
Okay. Actually, for information, MCMC, we are in the infra group are in a lot of smart city, Penang, Sabah, Melaka, which one? Melaka, Sarawak. Okay, indirect some of them. We are involved in team here. Iwan is here. So basically, we are involved in few of them, Langkawi and so on. Of course, the previous now we ada Kota Belud and all those lah. Those are like smart flood monitoring system. So as well also here. So those are some initiatives that we have done. So we have to be there because the infra must be there, and then the application itself. That's where my team we can come in with ideas and say, okay, what can be done? How can we make smart parking? How can we get smart street light and so on? That's one example. Or environment monitoring, very important. So those are normally they start with that.
I know somewhere in 2016, Sarawak, especially Kuching, they are doing the smart city for linking and DCS. But I didn't see MCMC there.
I'm quite sure the infra people has to be there.
Lundu there was once, not mistaken, MCMC was there. And when they want to do for voters, Marahan, now Samarahan.
Oh, didn't see it.
MCMC.
Surprising. I
Surprised also.
yeah, because like smart city sort of with the recent reorg, it came under my team. So that's why now we are going to all the council, like Malacca, we are part of the council to make sure that we are there. Of course, infra is one of them, but I think infra is the connectivity and so on, but we need a very good application, smart application for the community, because community is going to use it. End of the day is community, and of course government will be judged by, you know, by their effort, you know, and so on. So very important. I think we should be there. If not, other agency I won't mention the name will be there. So we have to tell the whole world that we are there. We can contribute. You know, of course, sometimes not so much on monitoring, but in terms of our knowledge, know-how, you know, our network, you know, that you can use technology and so on. Okay. Any other question?
What is the difference between smart city, zero carbon city, and green city?
Oh, that's a very good question, Thomas. No, just kidding. Thomas, just a short. That's why I say the definition is, very broad also. How do you measure that? In fact, a lot of people say, how do you tell is the city is smart? Very subjective. When they come up with the definition, that's why you see the definition, right? It covers quite a lot of areas. Energy is one of them. Energy normally is one of them. One of the key areas, three indicator. Because everyone is moving to the city. You need to have a very well efficient and green and so recycle, and so on. So that is where I think the whoever the stakeholder gonna drive that with that in mind for now and the future. Kalau tak, next time our next generation memang suffer. You look at Jakarta now. If you drive, I think by the time we will start Jakarta, I think like 4-5 hours. You just tak boleh jalan. It's like, so is that what you want, the city? What? The city might be booming. That's why now a lot of city they move the transportation underground subway. You cannot use the top again, memang because it's already packed already. So you cannot go underground with subway, tunnel, or on the sky, or above the road. So that LRT, MRT.
That's what I mentioned just now. I believe the information can be found also in some institutions like NRE.
Oh yes.
Last time it's NRE. Now I don't know. Like the one that you shared, the traffic, transportation, the autonomous.
Okay.
City was under data. I know they have lots of data.
Okay, the data is here and there. That's the challenge, I think, what I see in Malaysia. They are, in fact, we did the smart transportation system for SPED, dulu SPED. They have, you just imagine LRT, MRT, all the data is there, but they're not sharing. Now can you go from here to there? The best, closest one is Google Maps, but sometimes not accurate their information. So in fact, SPED, or dulu SPED try to do, so that you have exactly bus number, time, semua. I think they did it. Actually, we started with them last time under the Pemandu project. We showed them how it can be done. Then they got a budget to do it, but sampai today now they are tukar to APEC, so very sad. We went to the CEO, then we showed them a prototype that it can be done. But then what they do along the way, they change the routing of the bus number or the acronym. When they study the whole thing, right, they change the bus naming convention. So the application pun dah lari semua. Because it's all actually SPED. They got MRT, they got all the transport under them, right? Or Pasarana. They have everything. When we went there, I was working with Dr. Sherry at that time. Dr. Sherry is the expert in transport. Dulu he was a consultant for Pasarana. So basically, the information is there. When we first thought about it, we said, hey, so we went and knocked at the door at Pasarana. I said, give us all the data. First reluctance, but they thought, why MCMC doing all this? Actually, it's smart city, that's it. Right? You want to create a very conducive environment, you must open up your data. Of course, kita tak nak confidential data. We just want data that public can consume. I just want to go from here to here, A to check what bus number from here to Ampang, or where's the bus stop, where do I hop, how much tambang, how much is the cost, duration, cukup aja. That's not confidential, right? So, but sometimes they don't want to share, so they keep it in their database, no use. They share it out, let people create application, and let them monetize the value. Of course, hopefully can pay back some to Pasarana, right? So that Pasarana can grow, so we use better technology. Okay?
Okay. Thank you, John.
You ask me for what to do.